Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. I'm reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 to 16, and making some comments. Hope you'll follow along with me in your Bible. Now, concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also unto the husband, the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except to be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as myself, but every man hath this proper gift of God, one after this matter, and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. Now here's a chapter based on Paul's opinion regarding husbands and wives. He makes this abundantly clear that this is his opinion, reminding the Corinthians that, like them, he also has God's Spirit dwelling in him. They have asked him a question by a letter, and when we seek godly counsel from spirit led elders, we would do well to consider it. But importantly, we must remember that there are many things included in the Bible that are not direct commands from God, though many fundamentalists would want them to be so. If you take verse 1 and try to apply it as doctrine, you will get mandatory celibacy, which is an absurdity when compared to God's blessing throughout the Bible on marriage between a man and a woman. Other things that, while in the Bible aren't commands, include Job 12:6. The tabernacles of the robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly. So we understand that context is very important to understanding. Paul's admonition here is wise, and he sets it up by saying that it would be better if one's energies were focused solely on Christ rather than the physical relationship between a man and a woman. However, it is clear here that when two people commit to each other in Christian marriage, they are submitting their bodies to each other. To deny each other the affections associated with marriage is to defraud each other, to deny something that is rightfully each other's. Paul, in his opinion, suggests that those who aren't married, like himself, would be better off to stay that way. But in the end, it is better to marry than to burn with passion. Starting in verse 10, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. Let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace. What knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? Now Paul leaves his opinion and goes to a commandment from the Lord. Don't leave your spouse. If you must, then stay married or be unmarried or be reconciled. He then talks about those marriages one person becomes a believer and one does not. If the unbeliever is content to live with the believer, then they should stay together. The influence a believer can have on an unbelieving spouse is very important. But if the unbeliever abandons their believing spouse, the believer is not held to the ban on remarriage after divorce, and this modifies his first statement. Jesus made it clear that there was nothing that should break the marriage bond but adultery, and to divorce someone for any other reason was to commit adultery and to cause one's spouse to commit adultery. In the following, and Jesus states out in the following, Jesus starts out dealing with man's adulterous thoughts. Starting in Matthew 5:27. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. If thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. It hath been said, Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. Whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. Now, Paul expands this to abandonment as a reason for divorce added to adultery. Um, so now we'll stop there and pick it up in 17 next time, and talk about some social issues he talks about. All right. Thank you for listening. Please read your Bible, study your Bible, cross-reference the verses, pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and then share your interpretation with someone else. And if you want to purchase my comments, I have them on Amazon in Kindle or paperback form, um, and it's very easy to self-publish over there. So just makes it easy if some people like to have something in their hand. Or you can go to my blog, blogger.com, blogspot.com, and you can find these comments when I first did them. All right. Well, have a great day. Thank you.